There's a very interesting thing happening at the moment in terms of these harebrained low emission zone schemes that are appearing here, there, and everywhere. The main thing that's getting questioned is the lawfulness of the schemes in the first place, namely the consultation that was carried out beforehand, the implementation, and whether they're actually needed in the first place. I, of course, brought you a video earlier today about Noel Wilcox and his action against TfL. It appears on the other side of Hadrian's Wall, in Glasgow to be precise. The low emission zone scheme there has got its own problems too. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for joining me once again. Please, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Andy the Gabby Cabby, give the video a thumbs up, leave comments, and please share the content where you deem appropriate, because there's some great information coming out all of the time, and I obviously appreciate the support. Well, let's have a look at Glasgow, shall we? Quite a draconian low emission zone scheme up there, in that they're banning a lot of cars from the city centre in its entirety, and if you are to drive in there with one, I received an email from a guy not so long ago who did unintentionally and ended up getting fined. You can find a video about this on my channel as well. Now, there's legal action in place. There's legal action happening, which is analysing the lawfulness of this scheme in the first place. How was it implemented? Why was it implemented? Who was consulted? What they were consulted on? And then, was it needed in the first place? And all these things will deem whether it's lawful or not. This is the news article that came out on this earlier on, and I'll pick out a little bit of this. Banning older cars from a city was unlawful and draconian, a court was told. Advocate Lord Davison of the Glen Clover KC told Judge Lady Paul that Glasgow City Council acted illegally in allowing the low emission zone to come into force. The low emission zone has been in Glasgow since June, with £60 fines enforced in the city centre, while similar schemes will be introduced in Aberdeen, Dundee and Edinburgh next year. Well, the important thing is, will they, if this was deemed unlawful? A judicial review which could rule the zones unlawful is being heard at the Court of Session, backed by a six-figure sum pledged by a business-led Les Fightback Fund. Lord Davison told the court Glasgow Council has failed to follow established legal tests before introducing a ULEZ. The second phase of the scheme aims to improve air quality in Glasgow city centre by limiting which vehicles can enter the area. As I said, a blanket ban. Cars, lorries and other forms of transport which do not meet emission guidelines are not allowed, and drivers who break these regulations can be fined. Lord Davison said available data showed that air quality in the city centre had been improving in recent years, and that this trend was set to continue. He said the information showed there was no need for a ULEZ to be introduced, and that the scheme was therefore unlawful. Now that, at the end, is the very crucial point to all this. How was the information gathered to show that they needed a low emissions scheme in the first place? It wasn't, and if it was, what was there was shot full of holes. Who knew? It's happening in London too, and we have people jumping up and down about other matters in Wales and everywhere else. And court cases are getting heard. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for your support once again. As I said, get this content shared around. It's vitally important people know what's going on. I'll see you shortly with one more. Toodaloo.